Welcome to the Design Visit. I am Ralayo Akiwumi, your host. Join me as I step into the world shaping design today. As a designer, I believe refinement is continuous. It requires exposure, curiosity, and the discipline to observe. Study what I call the complex simplicity of the arrival. We explore that by stepping into different worlds. Season 1, Journey into Design. This season explores the evolution of designers, their beginnings, their growth, and the exposure that shapes them. Today, we are visiting Pranvera Vula, a designer I consider a force in commercial design. She has led projects for institutions such as Barclays, HSBC, JP Morgan, and Bank of America, delivering spaces ranging from 5,000 to over 300,000 square feet. One of my personal favorites, an Oslo penthouse, Floors of Happiness, a residential space that reflects a different sensitivity, disciplined yet distinctly expressive. Join me at the Hold Sessions House, where between laughter and reflection, we explore the journey behind our work. This is the Design Visit. Welcome to the Design Visit, and today we are visiting the one and only Pranvera Vula. Pranvera, thank you so much for having us here.
Thank you for having me in this interview. Really excited.
Oh, I'm really excited.
Thank you.
From the first time I came across your work, I was blown away. It was really nice. Remember, I think I saw it at Ole's magazine.
Ole's magazine.
Shout out to Ole's.
Yay, Ole's magazine.
Yes, and it was just,
yes,
it was breathtaking.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm so happy to be here today.
Thank
so
you.
I know we are used to seeing the design on magazines, on blogs, but today we want to know who Pranvera is. So
Scary.
please, who is Pranvera?
Oh, really? Who am I? To be honest, a lot of the time I think, who am I? And I think I already started doing that since I was very young, going, why is this like this? Why is that like that? And the older I'm getting, the more I'm appreciating how sometimes certain things can evolve in me as a person. Because I'll be like, there are certain traits that are the same, but there's certain traits that actually, not traits, like, almost like a habit, that it evolves into something else. Or you like something and the next thing, in a few years' time, you think, actually, I've evolved from that thought. Now I take different aspects and integrate it into it. And it's just so lovely to go on that experience, one with myself, and looking at me, and taking stock of what's going on here, which then enables me to see what's happening outside, and with everyone I know, and with people, and geometries and life in general.
I can imagine. So, if you were supposed to describe the young Pranvera. Well, where did you grow up? Where were you born? Where?
I was born in Kosovo.
Oh.
In the Balkans. So born in Kosovo, raised in Kosovo. And since I was very little, I was, I would say, quite energetic child.
That's lovely.
And I always had certain ideas that, the world is the world. And I just wanted to always go to New York.
Oh.
I had this vision of working in a big city and with a lot of tall buildings and having that high energy in an environment. Quite strange because there were times, let's say I would watch a movie.
Yes.
And the movie had nothing to do with Kosovo.
Yes.
It was an American movie, cowboys and Indians, blah, 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 you name it. And I would watch a movie and I would be really upset if something happened really bad to the Indians, for example.
Yeah.
And then one day I went to my room and I was like hysterical, going to my mom, why are they always killing us? She's like, what are you talking about? You know? And I was like, this is unacceptable. You know, and I had such high human morals, you know, since I was very young.
Little.
And the other thing, because I was very energetic, and then I'll talk to people and whatever, and I would feel things, and they'll be like, can you stop being so emotional? I'm like, what does it mean being emotional?
So you
I
found...
always had that connection, emotional connection, since I was very, very young.
Oh, that's lovely.
And I thought it was a bad thing, you know, because, you know, as a person, you shouldn't show an emotion. No. You should be very, this is how we talk and this is how we do things.
I think
I was the opposite of that.
I think that one thing that people should learn to do more is to just be yourself. And interiors is all about emotions. You have to invoke that thing out of that space.
Yes.
Or you can just be left with a blank space.
Yeah.
I read that your dad is an architect.
Yes.
And your sister is an architect.
Yes.
Most designers, for some designers listening and watching, architects, interior designers, creatives in general, we tend to try to pass, because it's a great skill and takes years to learn and build what you know. We tend to try to pass this knowledge to somebody, to like a child, and sometimes we push them away or we scare them away instead of actually having... Your dad did a wonderful job having you and your sister in design, your sister an architect, you an interior architect. And what would you say? Can you remember anything he did in particular? Was it the environment he created, or was it the drawings?
It was the environment, I would say, for sure, 100%.
So growing up, would you see like drawings everywhere? Did he actually tell you, Pranvera, come sit? Did he show you, or were you just curious about it?
Well, my dad was, a great architect, but being in a small country, and with all the drama that went on back home, his evolution wasn't as great.
Yes.
As in comparison to me being in London.
Yes,
you know,
but
and having the opportunity.
Pass something to you.
He did, because when we were children, we had our apartment, but next door there was like a studio apartment, an atelier. Okay. So he took that atelier, and we had books from all over the world, because he loved traveling. So he'd go to Japan and stay there for a month, or whatever. And he would bring back, instead of bringing back presents, he was bringing us books. Wow. So that studio next door to our apartment was my playground. So me and my sisters used to go and hang out there. Of course, we go out and play with our friends. Yeah. But because me and my sisters were so close in age, me and my one older sister and one younger sister, then I have another one which is way younger than us. And the three of us grew very close to one another, and we were kind of living in our little bubble.
Yes.
And being in Dad's studio, playing around with, you know, these books and saying, what does that mean? It's written in Japanese, you know, and that's in Spanish, and that's in Latin, and this is in French. And we didn't have Google Translate. So it was all like, Dad would be like, get a dictionary.
Oh.
And I'd be like, why are you being so mean? I'm only like 6. One, I'm learning to read in Albanian. Now you want me to translate from Japanese to what? There isn't even a translation book. I'm sure there was, but we didn't have it. So it was a matter of observing the pictures. And then there are certain times Dad sometimes said to me and my sisters, it was like, when you look at architecture, architecture is a language. And you need to see what it's doing to it. When you talk to someone, you have an understanding when you hear what they're saying, and you have a communication with them. Architecture is a language in how you should function, how you should work. What is the purpose of a light being in the place where it is?
Wow.
You know? What is the purpose of a curtain? What is the purpose of a structural wall? You know, and he was saying that picture, even though you can't read this text, just observe it and see what it's doing. It's giving you the structure, is giving you art, is giving you form that to serve a certain purpose for whatever that visual of that building was giving me. You know?
From what I'm getting from you, what he did was that he told you a story. He told architecture true stories, pictorial, and telling you not just like, oh, this is like, why is that? He questioned your minds.
He did. But the one thing that growing up, it was really difficult because, and I didn't know what to do with it, because if I had a question, I'd be like, hey, Dad, why is this like this? And then he'll be like, well, you'll figure it out. He was like, look at it, but he won't give me the details.
Wow.
He wanted me to find the details. And that was the part that I think made me to see what else can I explore. Because then I was like staring at one picture 1,000 times and trying to get
that means
more
you had
out of it.
You had it in you, because you don't push someone to look at a picture 1,000 times.
No.
You can't. So
No.
you had it in you, and being like your dad being an architect helped just refine that and grow that creativity in you. That is so wonderful.
And I don't think he knew that we would do that. We will end up in architecture. But Mom was the one that really, because I said Dad is, being an architect. Mom was a teacher, but Mom loved design. She loved fashion, she loved design, and she was very elegant, very soft-spoken, and she loved taking me to interior design stores. You know, and I'm talking back in those days. We didn't have that much, if you know what I mean. Now it's like you don't know where to start and end. But I remember her appreciating a cup. You know, she was like, oh, can you make me my coffee in that particular cup? We all have our particular cups. And I was like, why? And she'd explain, because the china had to be, or the whatever the material of that cup was, it had to be slimline. So when you drink it, you feel, you have a certain feeling with it. And I was like, what does that mean? Just give me a glass of water or a coffee or a tea, you know? But now I'm like thinking, oh my God, yes, when I drink my coffee from a certain cup,
you feel a certain
I have a certain feeling, rather than having a chunky little thing. I'm like, or am I in the mountains? Yes, but when I'm at home, I'm going to have that cup. So the feeling aspect I got, and the emotion, I think I did inherit it from Mom.
Oh,
you know.
That's really nice to hear. So when you chose to study, what did you study and where did you study?
I wanted to do architecture, but then I thought about the world early on, and I thought, you know, I like what has been done. I need to respect history. I need to respect previous architects, what they have created, even down to like brutalist architecture, which is something it's more difficult for people to accept it and to understand what brutalism means. Brutalism can be beautiful if you really study it and observe it. But at the same time, it could be a thing that is not very well accepted by people. And I thought how wonderful it would be to take those buildings and repurpose them so we can save a little bit of Mother Earth from having to always build new buildings. We can work with what we have. We can repurpose. You can take a building, let's say we're in Old Sessions House. It was one of the oldest courthouses in London.
Yes.
And now it's the house
beautiful.
to 1,000 and so whatever, how many thousand people that are doing their work, you know, their passion collectively in here. That's why sometimes you walk in this space and the energy is quite high because you have a lot of startups, companies that are growing, so they have that energy of hope, energy of drive, of creating, of bringing people together, not necessarily everyone being in design, they're all in different, you know, professions.
Yes.
But
so you already had all these feelings when you were trying to choose what
and
to
I
study.
chose to go in and do interior design. I did interior design and technology at London Guildhall University,
nice.
which now is called Metropolitan University.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, in London.
That's great. You also mentioned that we worked in a practice for so many years. How? What was your first job in the practice, and how did it feel emotionally and creatively?
The first job I ever had, it was in New York.
Okay, your dream place.
My dream place. That's why I was like, finished my studies. I was like, everybody was finding their placement to do their work experience after completing the studies. And I was like, I'm going to go to New York and do my work experience. And they were like, who do you know in New York? I'm like, no one. And I'm like, don't worry. Now we have Internet Explorer. It was just kind of like started working a bit better. And I printed all these names of architects, and I just went there with my printed CV, and I was like, hi, I would like to do my work experience. And luckily, because I knew some people from the restaurant, I was working part-time. Okay. They opened a restaurant in New York. Oh. I was working in their marketing office. Oh. And next door, it was an architecture practice. So wow. I just walked in one day and I said, can I show you my portfolio? I'll do the drawings, filing, whatever. And then they asked me to trace off a drawing, a historic building, hand-drawn. Wow. And I was like, don't you want me to do it in CAD? And they were like, no. The owner was like, I like presenting art in architecture. And I was hired and did that. That was my first job ever, which was so exciting. New York.
I can imagine. And you just spoke about drawing. That's a skill that is so, I think it's losing a lot of, a lot of people are not doing, but me personally, when I remember my first class in interior design, and the tutor, he was like, I was like, how do you do that? I was like, I can't do this.
Yes.
I can't do this.
Yeah.
And actually, I went back home. I practiced. There's always a technique to everything.
There
and I practiced. And I was actually drawing, and I'm obsessed.
Nice. Oh, really?
With, if I want to start a design, I have to have like a sketch. I cannot start designing on the computer. I have to
draw it up.
I have to draw something. I have to use my pen.
Yeah, I used to be really good. Even in art, I did A-levels and GCSEs in London. A-level art, I got A. And the head of Camden Council, my school was in Parliament Hill, Highgate. The council director wanted to have my final piece in his office in the council. Again, through a tantrum. I was like, why didn't he ask to meet the artist? But he wants to take my painting. The teacher was like, Pranvera, your painting belongs to the school because you did it for an exam. And I was like, irrelevant, how rude, you know? And I was like, this is my painting, it means so much to me, and I had no choice but to let me take the painting. I was like, I used to draw a lot, I used to do live drawing, but I always somehow ended up in positions that I have to lead a team.
Yes.
So the sketching got reduced more and more and more and more. And I don't draw as much as I would like to. When I do a project, I sketch a little bit, but everything automatically is in using some media.
Yes. Which I think even sketching and drawing, I think they're different, right? Like you can easily sketch something. Yeah. Like Alva Auto.
Yes, AutoCAD I see,
Is
right.
Like yes, he has
I use my iPad.
If you look at the books from the past, he has like his techniques and like you could sketch. It doesn't need to be like sketching. Doesn't need to be final, I think. I don't know.
No,
but doesn't need to look doesn't need to have the finesse.
Yes, that's right.
It's the what I feel that sketching helps me is just the concept.
Yes.
The concept.
No, 100%.
And this brings me to what skill helped you?
Oh, the one skill. See, sometimes it's quite funny because you hear people saying, oh, something unfortunate happened, and then out of that, something good came out of it. Earlier, I was talking about how I always was like quite emotional as a person, you know, and I didn't understand what to do with those feelings because I was feeling, not that I'm anything special, I was just really, I was like, oh my God, paying attention to that. I grew up thinking that's a bad thing. I shouldn't be so
emotional.
Yeah, don't dance too much. I'm like, but I want to dance. How am I going to stop dancing? You know, like, you know, same as with creating things. I always was taught when I was studying design, Pranvera, do a presentation. and here is my presentation. And they were like, you know, you should do options. I was always told do options. And I was like, but there's no point in doing options because I already analyzed it and this is the best option. And the professors always used to say to me, we want to see your thinking process. So I was like, draw something that automatically, I work things out in my head. I look at the volume and I'm like, okay, I see it. Yeah. The moment I see it, because in my head, I analyzed all the different options and I know what's not going to work. So I just draw the option that is going to work. And they were like, we want to see what is not going to work.
They want to see how the design evolved, because that's something that always happens.
It does.
You start with one idea and everything just changes. And I think that what really creates good design.
It does. And I'm thinking, analyze every aspect of it. Look at it from the top, side, whichever way, 3D, 5D. But how about looking at it in 32D?
So I think you spend a lot of time analyzing like your design yourself. You don't need to go to, you wouldn't, like the young Pranvera wouldn't just go to your professor and be like, oh, I'm thinking about this option, or maybe this option. You would, just like you said, when you mentioned that you, as a child, you would look at a picture 1,000 times. I think you do the same by analyzing your
And that's
concepts.
what I do, I analyze which option would work better. Then I come up with the option in my head. Then I draw it up. And then with that option that I know works, that's the one that I present going forward. Which then, by presenting it to whoever I'm designing for, I need their input. So we can perfect that option that works. Then we start finessing it and we start making it a perfection. And when I said earlier, like you can do it in 2D, you can do elevations, looking from the top, 5D, whatever, I said 32D. The reason why I'm saying that is because, or is it 33? It's senses. Okay. If I am creating something for one person, 2 people, 10 people, 1,000 people, which I have done, I had to consider all the senses that people would have, the spectrum that the people are, and then appreciate that those things have to come into play. So if I'm designing for you, I need to know who you are. What do you feel? What is good for you? Because it's not right for me to come and tell you what you should be having because I like it and I think it's right. I need to come up with a solution for you based on what you need, and then together we finesse it moving forward. Then you do have people that go like, I have no idea what you're talking about, not interested, do whatever you want to do and just give it to me on the platter. That's a different story. But I think today people are very knowledgeable, educated, they are aware of what
they like
our profession is, and they would like to have an interjection into that process. And that's what I like doing that.
And you mentioned something I really would like to learn from you. I was watching a video, an interior designer was making a video of a granite, like a stone. In Nigeria, I'm from Nigeria. In Nigeria, we use it. Some people used to, maybe some years ago. It's just like a trend. But so she was like, if you have this granite in your house, and I think designers sometimes they do that. It's like, if you have this thing in your house, then no, you shouldn't be having this style. You should be having that style, because we know the trend, we follow trends. But I don't. There's something in me that doesn't just accept that. I feel like as a designer, your job is to beautify what that person likes. So you turn dust into gold, not just come and paint gold.
Yes, thank you. I always say that. And the one word I always use is understated sophistication, right? You want to have a certain, how shall I put it? You should have a certain, what is wealth?
Yes, exactly.
What is wealth? Wealth for me is having a moment with you right now and Danielle talking to you.
Hi, Danielle.
You know, hi, Danielle. And, you know, that is wealth. If you start putting a table together, it's not, I'm not going to show you how creative I am if I'm going to go and specify the most, make it out of diamonds, yeah? And find a material, a mineral that has come out of all the icebergs that are melting.
Yeah.
And I say, hey, you have a mineral integrated into this finish that hasn't been used anywhere in the world. It's the most bespoke item ever. But why would I create that when it doesn't have a purpose? It just gives you a topic of a conversation for someone to say, oh, it's one of a kind. One of a kind, from my view, would be something that I have designed, bespokely, custom-made, to serve a good purpose to whoever I'm designing it for. Then that is the wealthiest thing that one can have.
Exactly.
Not what people think or what they see and they say, oh, that is wealth. No, no, no. Wealth is within the user that is using that beautifully customized design with intellect, with emotion, and is serving you a good purpose and is making you feel good every time you see it.
Exactly.
That person, not everyone.
And like you said, it's not just about the price. It's not just about the price at all. It's about that individual. What is wealth within that individual?
Correct.
It might be the silliest thing. It might be it might actually be something not too expensive. I've seen some designs where designers have really done like great work by just focusing on what that design is, not just trying to paint everything gold, but being true to that. Are you in South Africa? Then what is beautiful about what you're building? You don't just build like you're in, or design like you're building that flat is in London or in Paris. You design because that flat is in
that location.
And you have the sun, you have different types of weather. You design because of those 100%. Elements, not just
I agree. When I get a building, I always think, where are you? Where are you building? What is your character? What is the character that is going to live with this character? How long are you going to live with it? And how can we move it forward? Taking a contemporary modern building and putting it anywhere, yes, you can.
Yeah.
And some people do like that. Great. But appreciating the location, the culture, the natural sources that can be procured locally, it's something that is, wonderful. And a lot of times, locally, they're not explored because, one, maybe things are being done the same way as always. So then you just carry on. Okay, I come from a country with a lot of wood. I'm just going to use wood. Don't think about the stone because they don't have the infrastructure that maybe another country does for quarries and things like that. This is what happened when I did Oslo project. Because in Oslo, yes, they do use a lot of marble, but always has been very either white, can't generalize, I'm not generalizing, but it's all more like the toned down with Scandinavian look and feel, which is beautiful concept. But clients specifically said, Pranvera, I want high energy, I want movement, I want color, I want the penthouse to be one of a kind and international. Bring in the wood elements, of course, to serve a purpose, whatever you want to do, but I want movement. And then went to crazy stones.
That design, I love it so much, guys. The Oslo project, I'm going to put pictures.
Thank you.
It's so beautiful. And one thing I noticed about that project was glass reflection.
Yes.
Everywhere you looked, you're even when you're not facing the view, you're facing the view. You use reflection at different points. I really looked at it for a while.
Thanks for noticing that. I'm like,
you use reflection if you're in that.
Yes.
I have to visit.
Yeah.
I have to visit.
I have to organize it. I'll speak to my client.
Well, you use reflection, and there's so much to learn. Another designer copying that design might just use reflection without knowing why she's using reflection. But you use reflection because that is a penthouse. You want to feel that energy.
Yes.
Anywhere you look, you know that you're seeing the view. You have that majestic feel. Colors. Even when you said you use wood, I'm like, wood. Where did I see wood? But I'm sure
there's so much
glamorized
wood.
wood in that project that I can't even remember that there's wood there.
It's like the wood, you know, it's leading you to where you need to go. It's making you feel comfortable wherever you are. Then that's giving you that relaxation.
Yes.
And then you want to have something exciting to see. Then you have a bold color that is coming in from another material. So it was like always, you know, keeping it nice and calm and simplistic. The engineering that went behind all that look and feel, the engineering aspect was where all the time went in, really. The vision came to me literally within 48 hours.
Wow.
I just saw the whole thing again in my head. And then I was like, I need to start sketching. And then while I'm sketching, called my technician and I was like, hi, he's like, it's Saturday. I'm like, seriously, I need to get this stuff out of my head. Look, I'm thinking something like this. This is how it's going to work. And I was explaining and I'm sketching. And I was like, we need to start drawing it up, you know. And of course, and it was the final option. And it never changed. Never changed. And then even the client was like, didn't say to me, can you do another option? Maybe let's... I was like, do you want me to do another option? They were like, why would you do another option when this is exactly what we want?
And
never changed it.
Another thing that caught my attention was the carpet.
Yes.
Growing up, I always loved to be different. Not really, I just didn't really accept the fact that I just don't like being normal. I like to push myself. And I think that's also something that's helped me coming into design and being and appreciating who I am and not just following the crowd. I don't like following the crowd. I don't mind if I'm the only one walking in that path. I'll walk alone.
Yeah.
And so every time I remember being in class, every time I'm designing something, I would actually not want to use like the normal thing that you really expect to see.
Yeah.
I would like to go like, how can I, what way can I bring difference to this?
Yeah, spice things up a bit. Yeah.
And you did with the I remember the carpet, I was like, how did she think about that shape? Like, you know, you could have just had like a normal.
Yeah, the shape of everything was, what is it, how can I say, where are you going to be walking around? What are you using as a circulation? Meaning it's a hallway, it's only a path. But what is the path for? Where is the path leading you to? And then when you have a certain space that you want to identify that this is the space where I actually want to have my friends over and everybody's sitting around and we're having a nice conversation, and where would that be? And that's when I was like, if you're sitting in that position with your friends and you're engaging, you're having a nice conversation, what happens to your feet? I always had a thing that when you're working, if you are sitting on the wooden floor or your feet are sitting on a hard surface, somehow in wintertime, you do feel the cold more. If you have underfloor heating, that's a different story, because it's like a sense. So you have the sense that your feet are on something soft.
So you really care about every sense, really.
Yes.
You take that into consideration.
Oh, 100%. You know, like even when you're in a dining room, yes, forget about carpet, forget about rugs. You're eating there's a lot of crumbs, etc., etc., etc. I'm like, yeah, but you're eating in your feet, especially in countries that they take off the shoes when they walk in their houses. And this is what they do in Norway. They take their shoes off.
In Nigeria
because
too.
it's snowing, it's blah, 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 rain. And if you did do that, and you're in your own comfort, you're not going to wear your shoes to go and sit at your dining table. You're going to be with your socks. So or even bare feet because you have underfloor heating. But if your feet are sitting on a hard surface, isn't it much nicer if you're sitting in a nice plush wool and silk rug? It has to be natural material though. I'm sorry. You know, no synthetic,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
Plastic.
You have the
No,
clients for that. That's
definitely
good.
not. You know, seriously, I was like, in my dining room
Yes.
at home, I don't have a rug underneath there. It's a Victorian house, blah, blah, blah. And the dining room is not that generous. I wanted to put a rug, but because of the limited space, if I put a rug, it's going to be really weird in a Victorian house. If it was a grand room, different
Yes.
story. But it doesn't hug the table, the rug properly. But I was sitting there one day with a friend of mine, and I was like, hold on, I'm going to bring you a really nice sample. And she's like, why are you doing that? I said, just put your feet on that and see how you feel. And she was like, actually, I am feeling much warmer. The house was really warm, but it was really cold outside. So the coldness went into your body. And even if you're in a warm environment, if your feet are in a hard surface, that cold doesn't go away if your feet are on a hard surface. So, and she was like, you were right. I was like, I knew it, you know? See, all our senses work. And science have worked it out. It's not only 6 senses we have like 33 senses.
Wow.
You know, when I said we should have to look as designers, things in 33 or 34D,
yes, I remember when
that
you
was the
said
reference for the 30-something senses that we have.
I would have to look that up and then from that and impute that when I...
Yes.
Yeah. So what I can get from you now is you approach a project from the senses and an holistic view of...
The journey that you take in that establishment, whatever it is. It's sometimes you design you design buildings and then you walk in and you think, oh, I don't know which way to go. You just don't know which way to go. There's something always have to lead you to where your next step should be in a building. You walk in, what is the next thing that you do? What do you need when you enter a space? What do you need when you're a guest in an environment? So if you have guests in your house, you have to think, what happens to my guest? What happens if I have 10 guests arriving at the same time? Where I'm going to leave 10 pairs of shoes if they take their shoes off or not.
Everything has to come into
where the coat hangers, where I'm going to have, you know, oh, let me take your coat and put it in my bedroom. Great. No. You know, let's leave it on the sofa and then everybody's sitting on top of coats. You know, no, I'm going to get my butler to get your coat and put it in the right place. I don't know, it could be all different scenarios, you know. But you see, I don't think about one scenario. Yeah. I genuinely consider all the scenarios.
You know, you mentioned your dad being an architect and you're an architect now. Your dad, I'm sure...
I'm an interior designer.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You're an interior designer now. And your dad, I'm sure, was a very talented architect. As an interior designer, apart from talent, as you grew in your journey, did you ever realize that talent was talent just enough? Or did you consciously have to change habits, behaviors, or even stop doing some certain things? You start doing some certain things? What did you do to always move to the next level? Or was it just work on your talent and that's it? What would you say?
Yeah, it's a very difficult question. A lot of the time I think about that and I go like, the one word which I never actually use, but I hear people saying it, you know, is the word pivot. So I'm like, you're always like turning around and doing something else, you know, you're moving from one thing to another. Somehow I'm just like, am I stubborn? Am I stuck in my ways? I don't know what it is. And I'm like, I have to work with what is right within me. And I always try, and it's not a good thing. It's like almost like have a bit of an internal fight with myself, because if I'm pivoting, I'm going away from my honesty. So I need to be honest to whoever I'm working with. The honesty element, and you believe in something, how am I going to pivot from that?
When you were working with the practice, when did you realize that, oh, it's time now, I need to start my own practice,
I don't. That's what I'm getting at. I still don't know. And you know,
but you did. You left the practice.
You see, you know, when I do things, and you're like, "Wow, look at you! What you've done." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." I'm like, "I know." Shocking, literally. Sorry, it sounds really weird. Don't I believe in myself? I believe in myself very much. So, you know, but whatever I have created, and I walk around these spaces and I go like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Wow. And I'm like straight away going like, that could have been done better. You know, and then I'm like, ooh, that is spot on, you know, lovely. But the talent, I'm here, but I can see so much more, you know. So it's almost like, I'm not making sense, but it's like almost never enough. For me, it's never enough. Well, then I go with what is right within me to do. Oh. But to say that, you know, like, yes, I do have something I believe in. That is my talent, you know. That is being honest.
Yes.
Being truthful with that creativity that is in me, that I can apply it to whoever is appropriate for. I think that is something that actually I accept. And I grow with it.
You've designed wonderful spaces. You've designed commercial spaces that are just so functional and very, it is what it is. And it's functional, it's beautiful, and it's direct.
Yes.
And you've also done projects like the Oslo project, which just feels like grandiose, it's elegant. And to me, when I looked at that project, I'm like, oh, this designer is just a residential designer. She loves residential projects. She's a little bit of a maximalist, but she's stylish. And I wouldn't like necessarily just place that designer designing banks and all. But when I found out that you design banks and all these institutional places.
Yes, workplace.
Most designers niche themselves into like a particular sector.
Yes.
You've managed to understand commercial and residential.
Yeah.
Teach us how to do that, please.
Yeah. See, again, with that, I just went with the flow. And I was like, wherever the work is, I'm not going to say, hey, I'm going to design houses. I'm going to design retail, or I'm going to design offices. Because I've always had international friends.
Yes.
I never stuck to just hanging out with my community. So I kind of like love my community, but at the same time, I wanted to see what else is in this world. And that's what I've always done. When I started designing, I took the same principles. I didn't go and say, I want to do that or that. I just wanted to explore a little bit of everything. I wanted to do banks, wanted to do a bit of retail, and then residential, I never thought about it because whatever I did residential, I never actually even recorded things because it was like I was doing things for people that I know, right? This is the first project that I actually showcased when I set up my company. Designing for a corporate environment, for a workplace, I loved it. I loved it because these are the houses I am designing to take so many people in masses that are starting up with their careers. They come from completely different environments. Some are fortunate, some not so fortunate. I need to create a home that can equalize that for all.
Wow.
And I'm designing for masses. I'm not just designing for one person or two people, 5 people, whatever. I'm doing this for 3,000 people in a certain location. So And then when I design these buildings, and then when the project is completed and I walk over, by then, everybody was talking to me. And I was like, oh my God, how lovely. Now it's like almost I have all these people that are pleased. That feeling was so rewarding. So rewarding. Like, I love my office. I love my work. I love when I go and get a cup of coffee, that thing is there. And I was like, oh, good. I love when I'm like talking to my colleagues and we're chilling in this area, and it's just, oh, energizes me, and I can go back to work and I can be more efficient and I can do my work. I feel good being part of this establishment. That is so wonderful.
I'm going to use this opportunity, since we're with the boss of commercial designs, to get tips for designing commercial buildings, designing commercially for like a business or an institution. Yeah. What tips would you give us interior designers?
Always human-centric aspect of when you're taking a brief. It's great. We know how to put things together. We are so good at putting things together. Just finding that connection of how amazing, what's something that is so amazing we can create has a proper connection with who we're creating it for. We are doing this for the people. We are doing it for those that live in that environment, whatever the environment is, whatever the drivers are. If the driver for somebody is financial, okay, fair enough. But the human-centric aspect has to be key in that. Because happy people, happy company, happy finances.
So you focus on the people, not really, you focus on the people which are the users of the space.
Yes, yeah, because then they work more efficiently and they are more productive. Why are they more productive? Because the environment makes them happier people.
When you designed the bank, how did you make that bank feel special from another bank? And how did you did you take into consideration the customers of that bank and how they felt when they walked into that space?
Yeah. First, it's like, where is the bank? What are the demographics working in that building? What neurodiversity elements should we consider in designing this environment for that particular workforce? Depending on the business, you have certain personas working for that business. If you put me in the banking industry and I become a banker, no way, it's not going to work. But a banker persona is different to what I am. Yeah. So I have to think about what that persona is and provide the design that caters for those personas. And that is the best way of, when you're designing a big headquarter for a bank, considering all these elements and then applying them. But without speaking to the business and finding out who these personas are, whatever how beautiful it is, it's not going to work, because then you're not going to have happy workforce. Having a happy workforce is engaging with them and finding out who they are. Same as with designing a residence. To create an amazing design, you need to find out what is best for them, then design it. Because a happy home is a happy relationship in that environment.
Okay. Another question for you today is, what do you think about designers creating bespoke elements within a space? So designers not just looking at a space. For example, if I'm designing a living room, I don't just look at it as I'm designing where I'm going to place the chairs and my FF&E, but looking at to design and put and pay attention to other elements and other elements, I would say, and structures in that space. And it could be as simple as a chair. Maybe you have a nice space and you just know that in your heart that you can't find a particular console table. But instead of you just saying, okay, instead of putting a console table there, I could compromise and put an armchair in that space. Why can't, is it necessary for that designer to go ahead to design a console table that fits into that space? how important is it for designers to design, and do you do that, elements in a space, to design furniture themselves, to design, for example, a lamp, a side table, an armchair, while designing that space? Does it give the project more depth and emotion?
When something is, let's say a console table is standing standalone in an environment, in my view, I look at it as a piece of art, a piece of sculpture, right? So, I'm going to put that piece of sculpture there. Why am I putting it there? Because it's giving me, it's fitting in nicely in the space. It's a very sculptural piece. But I need a console to offer me something else. I'm going to be using it for a certain reason. Then, I would think, how can I customize that space to take that console, act as a storage unit or as something, whatever the purpose is, laying something on top of it. Then that's kind of becomes integrated with the environment, which leads to bespoking it. Then you're customizing it because you're integrating it with a building architecture. That it becomes a fixed piece. That is part of the whole environment. How important is that customization should go? It all depends what the client needs. You could find stunning pieces today that are already thought through by furniture designers. And then we can go and just procure one item because it does fit really nicely with the artwork around you. And that piece can even become like a sculptural piece, as I'm saying. But whether you want to customize especially, it all depends on the client. And why not? Why not have something that is special? Then it's your own personal piece. When I did the Oslo, I customized every thing in that space.
Wow.
So when I work with a joinery company, design all the furniture, apart from like the soft finishings, like the beds and the sofas.
They were like your designs?
Everything.
Because we designers, we shouldn't just, I think, I'm young in design, but I think that we should just focus on every project has to be like a space. So anytime you're talking to a client, it has to be like a space. We could also, design to me is more than just, design to me is a whole. I don't look at interior designer, I'm an interior designer. I look at it that I'm a designer. So I could design my life. I could design a space. The same principle I would use in a space and is the same principle I'll use while designing like a little cup or something.
Yes.
And I think we have that gift as designers, and we could also use that to build something, to end something, and to own our work, because it's our work.
Yeah, it is.
Design is very special.
No, 100%. In the Oslo one, all the customized wooden pieces that I did, the company were like, we can't just put our brand
on that. So
to put and I was like, why are you going to put my name on every piece of drawer and every cupboard? And well, what? Why? And they were like, because we've never worked with anyone like you, And it's true, because I'd fly over, drove 6 hours from Oslo to go to where the workshop was. And I sat with their technical team. I was reviewing every piece that was bringing something together. And I didn't just say, oh, that's the concept, you deal with that. I was helping them, because they were like, we've never seen a kitchen that is doing that. We've never done anything like that previously. So, and I was like, I'm here, let's make it happen. You work together, you make things happen.
Design takes time. Technical drawing,
the process
precision, is a lot. We should also have something that we own that we could also pass to our children, designs, and be like, this is my design. And the world is changing now. You can have a website up and
you can have things done like that.
Yes, exactly.
But original intelligence, it's something else. Because we have that thing in us, whether you call it talent, individual talent, that we apply for it. Not everyone, my creations might not cater for everyone. It could be just a certain group of personas that will work for. And same as with other creative individuals in our industry. But coming together and working together, I think is really important, because today, and you have the AI and everything else, but where is that talent to make things work better? You still need us for the process.
Yeah,
you still need us.
You mentioned
and the
collaboration.
talent for creativity.
I've always wondered, because I've seen buildings where architects collaborate to do something special, but I don't know if I just don't know about it, or interior designers, do they collaborate on projects?
Some do. I always like bouncing ideas with my team members, and I always say, hey, what do you think?
Not like your team. For example, a studio collaborating with another studio, maybe like to design an airport. Most of the time, you would see architects combining to like do nice big projects. Sometimes
you would normally have like executive architects, and then you have the execution team.
Okay,
that could work. Having two different design,
right?
Bringing them together, because they could have their own intuitive visions and how something can go, and the best they could make it work, because I think people are kind. I personally think it's possible. I haven't done it.
They would have to compromise. They would have to compromise. I think.
Haven't. Yeah, but why not? The only thing is, when you start a project and somebody else, let's say a project hasn't gone well, and then you get called in and you're like, can you fix this because the previous team is no longer here? Can you take it forward? And you take it and you think, what was that person thinking when they were doing this? I don't understand their creative process, how they reached at that point, because I don't have that communication. But if I did have that communication with them, then I can understand it and appreciate it to drive it forward.
What would be your dream collaboration? Would it be with a fashion house, an architect, or a sculptor?
I would have loved to work with Zaha Hadid.
Oh, Zaha Hadid.
She's always been my one and only architect that I've always admired. Her work is just, and her journey is just so wonderful. Yes. She was working for years and no buildings were being commissioned to be built. And thank God to Vitra said, hey, here, design a fire station in the middle of nowhere somewhere in the mountains. I can't remember the name of the village, but I've been to that building. And I was like, this was her first building, and it's a remarkable building. And then she just grew, and then everybody wanted to work with her.
And I like the fact that she wasn't afraid to be different.
She wasn't afraid.
And be, she's a woman, so she showed that in her design, and she wasn't like, oh, I'm going to pretend to be all strong, a man, this architect, or they do serious buildings.
Exactly, and she didn't. I don't know. I need to find out more. In my opinion, she wasn't following a trend.
Yes,
she wasn't following. Hey, Frank Gehry is doing that, or whatever.
I'm going to do that.
I'm going to go with my intuition and create what I want to create, and hence the organic form, in architecture that was born is just so wonderful.
And it's always very special to be the person that brings out something new, produces a trend. It's difficult and I think a lot of self-doubt would be somewhere hiding, but to be able to push that boundary and say, no, I believe in myself. As a designer, I think it's very important for designers to believe in themselves and believe in their design, and especially when they have a reason they're designing like that, and just own it, and just believe in it.
And that honesty in that belief is so important, and transparency too. Okay. Because no matter how much we hide, everything comes to the surface one way or another. So being truthful is the best thing.
The best thing. Pranvera, today, if you had a word or a sentence or a thought for designers already running their practice and designing, what would that thought be?
Well done. Well done. Seriously. that thought would be that it's really, it's remarkable, this profession. I really enjoy it. It's a very tough world we have as interior designers.
Yes. Light on that, because most people, when they see interior design, they hear they're interior designer, they'll be like, oh my God, your life must be so beautiful and you must be so rich and you must be...
Yeah.
They just have this idea.
Yeah.
And what would you say are the difficult part of being an interior designer, or some things we designers face, or you face as a designer that was a little bit tricky?
What is tricky is boring people with the process.
Okay.
Explaining that this profession, yes, there is a beautiful element to it.
Yes.
But to create something beautiful, you need to build it. The building process is underestimated. It always has. It still is. And that is the difficult part, I think, in getting whoever we're working with to understand that this is what the process is. There is a timeline. There is processes in place that do take time. We also don't click our fingers and make things happen.
Yes.
You need to go on that journey. Are you ready to go on that journey with me? Because I am creating this for you. You need to be a part of this process too. If they don't want to, then that's fine.
And this is like a sector where I feel like you saying, like, it's known, interior designers and designers in general being underestimated and those underrated. You just feel like, oh, you just did that. Just feel like you did that. Like, why would I have to pay you thousands of pounds to do that? But they don't know, like, number one, you've studied all the years to learn how to do that within 2 days.
Yeah.
And it involves a lot of work. You're not just placing a chair. It's not just about placing chairs and table and just curtains and pillows. It's real design is a lot of work. And would you advise interior designers to train their clients to appreciate that value that they bring, especially when it comes to quoting for like price and what you charge? How would they demand that respect?
It's very tough question. No comment. Well, automatically, actually, I think even Zaha Hadid said, you know if you're going to have a good project or not the moment you find out whether the client is ironing and moaning about the price to pay someone to create something for them. You automatically know if the client is willing to work with you and appreciates you. If the pricing of your fees is questioned from the beginning, which it will be, and they ask you to lower it, because it's like, oh, you're just putting a chair there to there. And it's like, oh, okay, then don't worry, don't hire me. Don't hire me, because obviously you can put a chair there yourself. So why are you having a conversation with me?
So at that point, just draw that boundary and not just continue wasting your time with such clients.
No, it's you need to explain to the client. Okay. So why are you there for? You're there to help them make decisions. You're there for them for a purpose, to make sure that whatever they are getting, they're getting it that is the most suitable solution to their life. And you're guiding that process for them. You're making things happen for that client. You are making sure every aspect of that environment has been thought through thoroughly, coordinated, the engineering element, the architecture element, then the final beautiful look and feel is applied to it. That whole process you are there for. And you're not just doing it because you want to paint a beautiful picture. You're there to help the client. Because the client can do it themselves if they wanted to. But it's so overwhelming, this industry, the profession that we have, that if you have a normal day job and then you're dealing with this profession, this is where it gets really tricky with clients. And they have their own ambitions, their own creativity in whatever they're doing. You are helping in this process so they can achieve what their vision is for this environment and make life easier for them. And at the same time, you're enjoying it because it's your job. It's your purpose.
And that's where they get us. That's where they get it. Like,
yeah,
you like what you do, so I'm just going to do it anyway.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is my purpose. But you speak to a lawyer, go to the dentist, you go and see whoever you see, this is how much you have to pay for it. I don't have a product to sell. The only thing I can sell is my time. It's my time and my creativity in what I know. I know when somebody's going down a route and it's not the right route, and it's like almost we can tell the future a little bit, with the experience. Everybody says to me, why didn't you open a company 20 years ago? And I'm like, because I wanted to learn, and the only way I could learn is by working with big companies, being in big corporate companies, and working on different variety of projects. And only now I feel I am comfortable in doing my own practice. Doesn't say that everybody can do it. I'm like, oh my God, it is one hell of a experience,
That was good. That's going to bring me to what can you think back and look at what skill did you learn, or what did you learn from working with a practice that you use every day, or you use that is very important as you run your practice?
What did I learn?
Yeah, anything special? I know you learned a lot of things. Well, what do you have anything special you learned? It might be as simple as maybe accounting. I'm just saying. Well, it's not accounting, I'm sure.
What did I learn? I learned so much. I just don't know what to pick from. I learned how, you need to do a lot of business development, networking, at the same time, yes, make sure everything is charged for.
Okay.
You can't just end up doing things for free because you have salaries to pay. You have resources that you need to account for. And it's I'm going to come back to you on that because I learned so much. That's why
already
you said
a lot. You said a lot.
Exactly. What is the highlight?
How to even run a business. You really mentioned you learned how to run a business, how to run a design business, because that becomes very tricky for people that just started their own practice without that experience. Yeah. Like you said, you have to charge for everything. You have to charge for your time.
Yeah, you do. And you have to remember that, creativity, what is creativity? How can it's your energy that you have with people, and people have to believe in what you're doing, and they have to like what you're doing. If they don't, you can say I'm the best designer in the world, and it's going to be like, yeah, okay, fine, bye. It's the relationships that you have with people that you can best explore and express your creativity.
Okay. How important is networking to designers? Because a lot of designers talk about networking, you have to network, but how important is it?
I think it is important. I do believe that you should meet with other designers, like SBID.
Okay.
I joined it before Christmas, first time, and I went to one of their talks, and it's just a brilliant society of British and international interior designers, and you had some amazing designers on panels talking about their experiences, like the conversation we're having now, and just hearing them talk, it was so valuable to me. And also they have certain tools that help interior designers run their businesses, the processes. So I'd say we have to be with the Society of British and International interior designers, because it's like RIBA.
Yeah.
Architecture has it,
Yeah.
but the details that interior designers deal with, it doesn't even come close
to what
and that's
they,
something that we need to regulate.
Yeah.
By us coming together,
Yes.
we will make our profession stronger.
Yes.
Therefore, we will stop struggling with having clients to understand that there is a process in interior design, and you know there is a fee that you need to pay.
Yeah.
They will understand it better
Yes.
than they have done.
Yes.
You know, I'm not saying that everyone. There's amazing clients that go like, I respect it. I know what it takes. I completely understand it. This is why I'm talking to you. I'm like, oh great, okay, so wonderful. You know, that is. But the ones that don't know, and it's like, so walk me through it. What is it? It's like, yes, I'm going to walk you through it. It's like somebody telling me like, you need to go to the dentist, and it's like, well, this is a procedure and this is what you're going to have to pay for it. Oh, thank you for explaining it to me. This is what I need doing. This is how many times I have to go to the dentist, and this is what I'm going to have to pay.
Yeah.
It's the same principle.
And interior design, I think worldwide, is getting that structure. Even in Nigeria, there's an association for interior designers, and I'm a member of the British.
You?
Yes,
oh,
yes,
great.
yes. I remember I joined
Nice.
as a student.
Oh,
yes,
brilliant.
Yes.
Great.
Yes. So me even, like, I remember when my first day in class and doing my BA, they were like, okay, they introduced, because the first question I asked was like, is this a job? Is this a job? Is this a career? Can anybody, I just feel like anybody can just say like, I'm this, I'm that. For me to spend, I'm going to spend, I already had a BA, a bachelor's degree in nursing. So for me to now say I'm spending a particular time doing a BA in interior design, I needed to know that if it was a profession.
Brilliant. Put the two together. Interior design is nursing. It is. You're patching things up always. So, you know, to put things, to make them healthy. And that's what we do.
And it's
you know,
just the holistic
healthy
and
environments.
Yeah.
You know, and the care element that you would have from your first profession that you wanted to go on. You know, what is nursing for? Is caring.
Yeah.
You know, and that caring element is so important in what we are doing.
Yes.
You know, I always despised, you know, something saying, I don't care. It's like,
you
why
have to
are you
care.
even saying
like
something
you said,
like
of
that?
every 33
Why
sentences, you have to
even say
care
it?
about how that client feels.
Yeah, if you don't care about it,
then
what is the outcome going to be? In whatever you do, with your intention, you know, you have a good intention for doing something, you know.
Yes.
And when you do, everything is so much better.
Yes.
You know.
What would you say to interior designers that are just graduating from university and just getting into the world of interior design? What advice would you give them?
Be inquisitive, explore. A lot of times we get almost like put in the corner that we should review what are the trends. Let me go with a trend because everybody's doing it. And it's like, yeah, everybody's doing it. No, that's great. What is it good about that trend? But not necessarily that you need to apply it in everything that you do. I'm always saying, everyone, we are all people. We are all individuals.
Yeah.
None of us are the same. We are all different. But we are all people. Always look at the person that you are working with.
Okay.
And see them. And most importantly, don't tell them what you think they should have. Listen to what they want. And listening, it's so important.
Okay.
And here I am talking a lot.
And promise, this is the last one. For people trying to, not that have not even started a career in interior design, but looking towards like starting to take a leap, to start a career, to study interior design, or to go into the interior design field, what would you say? Do you really say, go study, do a BA? What should you do? What would you say to them?
For the people that are taking interior design, they're about to.
Yes, they're about to.
I would say go to furniture stores. Go to Chelsea Harbour Centre in London, for example, and feel everything. It's very tactile profession that we have. We have to learn about the materials. What would they feel like? What is their purpose? What is the meaning of having that fabric wherever we want it? And I think being in those environments, it's so important. And also art. Go to a gallery. Go to V&A and see certain exhibitions in fashion, which they have. Marie Antoinette, they had recently. I went to the Chanel one last year and saw all Chanel's costumes, how when she started, what she was designing and the way she was designing. And she was like from a tiny little village somewhere in France, and she was designing for globally for these great people that believed in her. And why they believed, because her attention to every detail was so remarkable, and I was just watching everything and going like, wow. And everything was like understated sophistication, but the materials were played an important part, and also how they were put together, that knowledge, that how did she do that? Because it came from within her, because she loved what she was doing.
Thank you so much, Pranvera. I've had the most wonderful time. I've learned
Can I
so
do my
much.
dance now?
We're actually going to do a dance, don't worry.
I need a coffee. I need a coffee.
And it's been a wonderful, wonderful conversation. I've learned so much from you, and it's a beautiful kickstart to the season. And thank you, my viewers, and thank everyone listening. Thank you for being here with us, and just follow us through the journey into design. We're going to explore other designers in London, and we've had a wonderful, splendid time with you, Pranvera. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.